At random, a lladd lloi tenna mewn tyddynod llwm, slaughtering scraggy calves on bleak small holdings. Some lovely alliteration there. But the Wales he depicts in his poems is very much a contemporary one. It's a Wales of supermarkets and bypasses and Twitter feeds. And I think some readers will find these poems challenging. Guto warns us not to, as he puts it, roi trefn ar glipia papur ein gwareiddiad brau, not to arrange the paper clips on our fragile way of life, that we shouldn't take the future of Welsh language culture for granted. Excellent.
Alongside the more traditional events, the Eisteddfod is constantly adding new competitions to freshen up the mix. One of the most popular ones sees soloists competing to give the best rendition of the song of their choice from a musical. I've been given permission to tag along with the judges of this year's competition.
Do any of today's competitors have the potential to go on to the West End?
It's a great breeding ground, the Eisteddfod,
yes.
A great springboard for these young people to go on and hopefully create and carve out careers for themselves.
And personally for me, I've been here since, you know, in the Eirth and the National since I was 6, and definitely feel that all the experience I've had has helped me towards getting to my final goal, definitely.
Out of the 28 singers who competed in the under-19 category this year, 3 have reached the final. Only the Welsh language is allowed on the Eisteddfod main stage, so all these West End hits have been translated into Welsh.
The first prize is a £1,000 scholarship, which the winner can use to further their career, spending on singing lessons, masterclasses, whatever it takes.
I think the 2 judges have just heard their winner. But to be honest, I don't think I'm cut out to be a judge of musicals. I wouldn't know my cats from my phantom. But judging from the audience's reaction, this competition has certainly established itself as a firm favourite. Another new addition on this year's Eisteddfod field is the Tŷ Gwerin, the folk house. This yurt is home to folk music and dancing. 21-year-old Gwilym Bowen Rhys is an exciting new talent on the folk scene here in Wales. He first came to prominence in a rock band, but now he's passionate about traditional Welsh songs and giving them a contemporary twist.
Wel dyma'r hen di rwy'n ei garu, hen di can a phennill yng Nghymru, a'r gwellt iddo'n do, a'r drws hebry'n clo. A'r mir ddim rhy falch yw yn gael chi.
Beautiful. Thank you. Yeah. It's not a song I'm familiar with. I'm presuming that the melody would be quite traditional, but what you've done with the accompaniment has been more creative?
Yes, lots of people do this with folk songs. You keep true to the old melody,
Yeah.
but the accompaniments can be anything you want. These old songs, I heard somebody describe it, it was like evolution, you know, only the strongest and the best survive, you know. If it's not very strong, you forget it, you know. But
Yeah.
if it's memorable, you know, the words to some of these old songs are just poetry put to music.
When he's not singing, Gwilym can be found in the seaside town of Criccieth, helping to maintain another Welsh tradition. He's just started an apprenticeship as a clogmaker. And his training is being funded by none other than Prince Charles, who stepped in after learning that Wales's last full-time clogmaker was about to retire.
Prince Charles put finance and support forward to pay for Gwilym to be trained here for a year. I sort of look at myself as like a line, the end of a line. I don't want it to stop at me. I've got a moral obligation to make sure it gets passed on, which is what I'm hopefully doing with Gwilym. There's no one really at all else in the trade doing any training, and you've got a really simple equation. No clogs, no clog dancing.
It just comes down to culture. What makes this bit of land different from that bit of land is the culture and people and history, you know, and it's important to me anyway to keep that alive, or everywhere will seem the same, which will be quite boring, I think.
The Eisteddfod tradition is unique to Wales, as is the bardic pageantry of the Gorsedd ceremonies, initiated over 200 years ago in London by the stonemason Iolo Morgannwg. But the two weren't brought together until 1819, when the Eisteddfod was held in the nearby town of Carmarthen. And at the local museum is the actual chair that Iolo Morgannwg used to unite the Gorsedd and the Eisteddfod.
This, I think, is it. Yes, the 1819 Eisteddfod chair. Iolo had a real affinity with this particular chair. It said that every time he visited Carmarthen, he liked to sleep in it, because being asthmatic, he preferred to sleep upright. And this was his chair of choice.
The chair's location was something of a mystery until Welsh furniture historian Richard Bebb chanced upon it 6 years ago.
Despite its importance within Eisteddfodic tradition, this chair was actually lost for quite a while, wasn't it?
Yes, we knew there was a chair given in 1819 because it's mentioned in the Eisteddfod proceedings as being, it was made of indigenous oak in a pure Gothic style, and it was put on display on a table for people who are desirous of winning it to enter.
Right.
And then it's mentioned as being going to Llanganno Vicarage, where it was before 1850. But from that period, it's just been lost to scholars of the period.
But recently found.
Very recently, yes.
The Gorsedd ceremony at the 1819 Eisteddfod was quite a modest affair. Iolo Morgannwg created a Gorsedd circle with a handful of pebbles from his pockets. Then he went on to admit poets as druids, giving them white, blue, or green ribbons according to their rank.
Iolo Morgannwg was certainly a colourful character with a colourful, if not controversial, past. But despite his somewhat creative approach to history, the Gorsedd tradition that he initiated in London and then integrated with the Eisteddfod here in Carmarthen using this very chair still continues to this day, nearly 200 years later.
As the week draws to its close at this year's Eisteddfod, one chair stands alone in the spotlight. And the way you win a chair has hardly changed since the days of Iolo Morgannwg. So, what exactly is required? Let me explain through the medium of fish and chips.
A chair is awarded for a poem written exclusively in strict metre. Each line of the poem must be written according to the rules of Cynghanedd, and broadly speaking, there are 3 different kinds. The first kind involves internal rhyme. Are these chips from Ipswich? As you can see, Ips there rhymes with Ips in the penultimate syllable there. Ips, chips. Okay. The second kind of Cynghanedd involves alliteration. Tuna fish is not in fashion. T-N-F fish. T, N, F. Tuna fish is not in fashion. That's alliteration. So we've had rhyme, we've had alliteration. The third kind of cynghanedd is a combi cynghanedd. It's a fish and chip cynghanedd. It involves both internal rhyme and alliteration. No one trips on fish and chips by choice. So again, we've got the rhyme, ips and ips. But we also have an element of alliteration. Ch and ch. Ips and ips, ch and ch. No one trips on fish and chips by choice. Simple.
It's time for me to don my robes once again as the Gorsedd of the Bards prepares for its penultimate ceremony of the week. Within this stone circle, new members are admitted into its ranks. And today is a special occasion for our family because my wife's cousin, Haf Thomas, is being honoured by the Gorsedd for her work with charities.
Dwi'n edrych ymlaen yn fawr iawn i cael cyfarfod archdderwydd ddechrau fi a gwneud ffrindiau newydd a dwi'n edrych ymlaen at y diwrnod mawr sy'n digwydd i fi heddiw.
I adnabod yng Ngorsedd fel Haf o'r Llan.
A be mae'n ei olygu i chdi i gael dy dderbyn i'r orsedd ydy?
Dwi'n hapus dros ben a dweud y gwir a ges i sioc bach neis a dwi'n ffantastig bod fi yn mynd i gael i dderbyn i'r orsedd.
Y gwir yn erbyn y byd, a oes heddwch.
Once again, the Eisteddfod Pavilion is packed for the chairing of the Bard.
Sefyll, os gwelwch yn dda.
And in front of 300 members of the Gorsedd of the Bards, the winning poet stands on his feet. And as the warmth of their reaction suggests, he's a familiar face to this crowd. Kerry Wyn Jones won the crown 5 years ago, and this is the second time that he's won the chair. And so, in accordance with one of our oldest traditions, this year's champion poet is chaired.
The glory of the National Eisteddfod is its incredible variety. The fact that it can be so many different things to so many different people. A tremendous tapestry of tradition and innovation. Because tradition must embrace innovation if it is to survive. It must also appeal to the younger generation because they're the ones, of course, who will carry it forward into the future. Guto, llongyfarchiadau. Diolch yn fawr. Diolch yn fawr. And for me, coming to this Eisteddfod each year and plugging into that incredible variety is like recharging your cultural batteries. It energises you for the year ahead. Until the next Eisteddfod comes around.
Revelling in the wonders of our human planet here on BBC4 next this evening as we head into the Arctic. And then at 9 tonight, a chance to warm up. We've drama from sunny Sicily coming your way with Inspector Montalbano in an hour.